came to us about 1.5 years ago now. He was a bright spark then, but he wasn't at the same level as the other children. He was probably at the developmental age of a 6-month-old, and he started with us when he was just over 12 months old. He was completely immobile. He would just be lying on the floor for the day. He wasn't eating, he was not communicating with anybody, and he should have been at a developmental age of probably walking or at least taking steps, having eye contact, and none of that was present.
Vance couldn't move. Basically, we carried him a lot and we would move him and we would be there next to him, working with him. He wasn't very social at the start. It was a new environment for him. He'd really observe the other children, and I feel that he wanted to be a part of them.
So I've been working with Vance for about 2.5 months. When I initially started, he couldn't walk on his own. He couldn't even stand up on his own. You had to physically lift him with both hands to actually get him up on his feet. And you could tell that he really wanted to be able to be mobile and independent, but he just didn't have the ability to do so. Vance is categorised as globally delayed, which means that he's not reaching the milestones that he should be, that other children of the same age are. A week ago, he couldn't even walk on his own. I mean, I knew that he could. He physically was able to, but it just came down to a confidence thing. He needed somebody there to hold his hand in order to keep walking. And on Monday, he just decided that he didn't need people anymore. And as soon as he let go of our hand, he was off and about. There was no stopping him. I've noticed that, especially now that he's becoming a lot more independent, he is starting to engage with the other children. He's made best friends with this little girl called Eliza. They're so beautiful together. The first time that Vance actually walked on his own without an educator was with Eliza. Eliza went up and held his hand and walked him across the room, and just the look on both of their faces was magical.
When I saw Vance walk for the first time, when he came from the toilet with Eliza, I think it was the most beautiful moment of my life here in Australia. I just couldn't believe that it was happening.
When I first walked in the door and saw him walking, he wanted to show off to me his walking ability, and he was doing bog laps up and down the toddler's room with this enormous grin on his face. Claremont Therapeutic Riding Centre is the horse riding centre that I have been volunteering at for the last 15 years. When I first met Vance, he reminded me of a lot of the riders that we've had coming to the riding centre, and just seeing the incredible improvements that they have made through interacting with nature and animals has just been mind-blowing. And I knew that I had to get him down there and I had to get him on a horse. CTRC, as with Pachamama, is all about nature-based play. When kids can interact with animals and actually be outside and actually climb on equipment and get themselves dirty, I think it helps them progress physically, but it also helps them progress mentally.
Inclusion Support are an agency that provides assistance to centres and services that can apply for funding for an additional educator. Getting inclusion support is a challenge because firstly you have to engage with the families and just have that relationship built with them so you can openly have the conversation that there could be a possibility that there is some additional needs with their children. If we hadn't engaged inclusion support, Vance maybe could have not been walking today, and he's now 3 next week.
Doing all of these little things, playing on all of this natural equipment and walking on uneven ground has just developed his strength so much. Even now he can bend down and pick something up off the ground and stand back up again, and originally he couldn't do that. He just didn't have the strength. This progression really just comes down to the incredible team at Pachamama. This has really been a multifactorial approach to his development. We've got funding from the government, we've had our inclusion support lady Michelle, who's been amazing. The management team at Pachamama has been outstanding, and all of the educators on the floor have been so devoted and so committed to allowing these children to make these progressions.
Pachamama to do that for him and for his family is beautiful. Yeah.